I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where today we're going to teach you some interesting warm-up techniques, building on from last week. This is a different than the other warm-up where I'm using that for game-related stuff. This would be sort of for training sessions. The other one as well, you're going to see, I'm going to build on that from next week, and you're going to see this progression of how you teach patterns of play and all these simple things you can just do from your warm-ups. And then when you only get the specifics of technique and all that stuff, you can do that in your training sessions as well. And it comes down to maximizing what you're trying to get done in your warm-up. And of course, we're not necessarily talking about coaching on the Premier League level here, even though you'll see some stuff that exactly this is where this all comes from anyway. But it's for all your, if you've got your kiddies football or your Sunday leagues or anything else, or you're just learning to coach football, or you just want to know what's going on, this is where you learn it. This is the channel for you. Right. So this is a simple, this is a rondo 3v1 keep away session. You've all probably seen it before. If not, you've done it. And yes, I got my scarf on because I'm freezing. My office is freezing. My computer doesn't heat up at the moment to actually warm it up like it used to because it's now decent. So we've got 3v1 keep away. What's the purpose of this? Well, it's 3v1 keep away, right? Yeah, not really. Let me just play you through. This is the software that I use, playdrill.com. There is a link in the description below. I'm not an affiliate or any of that nonsense. Use these guys. They're very good. There's loads of little options and stuff you can do. As I'm learning and using this software, it's going to become better and better, all my little drills. Right, so we can play this little animation here and we can see, right, first off, when we pass the ball, what are we looking to do? Right, well, we're always looking to have two supports with the ball in the middle. What does that give us? That always gives us two options to play. This player here is coming to close the ball down. And I've been ranting in all my videos this weekend about why don't Premier League players close the ball down? And this is why. You're about to find out as this drill, we move this forward. So what's the purpose of this? Well, the purpose is to keep the ball. All right, but there's a million things you can coach with inside of this little simple thing here. Well, it's technique of passing the ball. If the player in the middle is very, very athletic and better than these players, you can give them restrictions. One of my favorite restrictions to give to this player is put a football at their feet. Give them a ball. So they've got to dribble around in the middle while they're trying to close the ball down over here. They can even kick the ball at the other ball. If that player is a higher standard than these players here. If they're a goalkeeper, you can have them have a ball in their hand as well, just to try to get multiple things done at the same time. All right. So as we move this forward, we're just going to knock the ball around. And this is the key aspect I want to show you here. As we move it to this last little slide here, I want you to look at this. Okay. Oh, let's go back to that last slide. Right. This is the key point of these little rondos and these sessions. The player here, you're not really coaching him closing the ball down. It's all about these players. And as you can see, this player now, his shoulders are facing this way. He can no longer pass it to this player, and he's only given himself one option of where he can pass the ball to. This is key, okay? This is key. If he's the right way and he's facing like that, so he can receive the ball and pass the ball. That's what you're looking to do here. If your players are moving around, right, when he's received the ball here, and his shoulders off there, he's only got one way. He's shut down the gate. He can only knock the ball back to this player here. Okay. And now you're going, oh, he can turn. He can use a bit of skill and knock it over there. Not if the player here is pressuring correctly and he's coming after him properly. He's shut him down because of his body shape. So when these players are transitioning from one side to the other, because remember what the goal is wherever the ball is, the ball should be in the middle of these two players. These players should also be changing their body shape to open up the whole time so they can receive the ball and move it very, very quickly. Now, you don't necessarily want them playing at one touch. You want to do it two touch, depending on the ability level and what they are. There is a problem when you're playing at one touch because then it becomes very flicky and it all becomes a bit of a mess. But one of the key aspects in when you're actually coaching, which they don't teach you in any coaching license because, quite frankly, they don't know. It's not about what you're coaching. It's about what you're actually coaching. What does that mean? Well, what we're actually coaching is for this player not to win the football, right? At no point does he get to tackle. You're training the player in the middle here to do one thing, intercept passes. That's all he's trying to do is intercept the passing. So when you look at the Premier League and you go, why aren't people tackling? Why aren't people when they shut the ball down? Why aren't they coming in to try to tackle the ball? Because they don't teach it. This becomes muscle memory. So Like, let's just name a certain club, maybe that Cash knows inside out their training regiment because maybe done things that Manchester City coach this inside out. This is what they'll do from their youth football all the way through their academy up to their pro team, and they add certain aspects as you go higher up from the play to perform, the play to there's always the play to have whatever it is. There's 5 different levels, and as they go through, at no point are they teaching you to win the ball unless it's an intercepted pass. So when you see players in the Premier League and you look at these players and you go, well, why aren't they trying to pressure the ball and go for it? He's 1v1, he can get the ball. Because this is the warm-up they're doing every day. Every single day, they're stopping and waiting to intercept the pass. They're not running up and tackling the ball. So it becomes muscle memory. You've trained all your players not to go and win the football, just to intercept the pass. And this happens so much with ex-players as coaches. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. What happens when you're an ex-player, and when I'm talking about Premier League players and nonsense, what happens is you get this extra new skill set because you've done a coaching course and you never learnt any of this information. So this is the information you think is relevant, but all this information you had when you were a pro player that made you the best in the world in doing whatever, you don't think is relevant. But this is the information that's relevant. This is the stuff that you need to be teaching them. That extra little bit, that's just tactical fluff and nonsense, and let's feel good about doing shapes and tactics and creating dynamic pressure pockets and third man overlapping overloads on the blind side, right? Blah. The basics is what got you there, and you're doing those really, really well to a massively high level, made you a world-class football player. And that goes out the window when you're just playing keep away, and you've trained this player now not to tackle, just to intercept the pass. And you can say, oh yeah, but if he's close enough, he might tackle the ball. Not at the Premier League standard. He's never going to get close enough. They're always going to move the ball. So he's only going to be training him to intercept the pass. So what happens is every single day you are training to intercept the pass and no one's getting close enough to tackle. And that's where these adverse effects that happen when you do a training session. And this is what I'm talking about. They don't teach you in coaching licenses. It's the adverse effect. If I'm doing this training session, I'm coaching the players on the outside of the square. What am I actually coaching the players on the inside of the square? What foundations are they going to have? If we run this drill every single day for 2 years, what are they going to be learning in the middle? Because every one of these players will end up going in the middle. So this is the key things you need to think about and go, right, okay, so if I'm giving them these adverse effects here of when they never really tackle the ball, they don't really get close enough, I need to do something else to counteract the bad decisions that I'm giving them, to show that there is another level, there is another step, there is another thing that you have to do. What I want you to do is maintain ball possession on the outside. Great. That's brilliant. But the bad thing is you're teaching this player, well, does he really pressure the ball? No. He's pressuring the pass. And there's a difference in pressuring the ball and pressuring the pass. And that's what you're teaching here. You're pressuring the pass, not the ball. And think about it. If they're playing first time as well, he knows he doesn't need to go to the player because this guy has to play it first time. So he also knows if you're playing one touch, I don't need to pressure the ball because by the rules of our little tiny game here, he's going to pass it. So I don't even have to close him down in this game. If it's one touch and that's what you're playing, he can't stop it and do because he'll go in the middle. So I don't have to pressure the ball. He's only got one touch. So the adverse effects of what they're teaching in these rondos is huge. Now, go back, because in one of the other things I want to be highlighting, it'll be probably coming out into the international break. It's a huge mind map thing. Hold on. I'll just give you a little sneak preview. If that was what I was talking about last time down here on the bottom, and then we're building up through the academy and what they're doing wrong through all the academies and how the FA's killed grassroots football. But one of the main things is down here is the 10-year cycle, and everything that you're coaching in the academy comes into the Premier League in 10 years. So let me just that's just a little overview of what we're looking to do in the next couple of months. Be on the lookout for this, because you'll probably really enjoy this if you're into your football. But back to the topic at hand. So think about that. If they're coaching this, which they are, in all of their academies, which they have, since about 2007, really 2012, it started taking hold, 2016-ish. In 10 years, all of these young players are now in the Premier League. And what have you taught them? I don't need to pressure the ball because this guy's going to play it first time, right? I just need to intercept the pass. And they've been doing that now, growing up playing football. That's why they don't pressure the ball properly in the Premier League. And you go, oh, but they'll all know that, Cash. No, they don't. They don't think like that. They do not think about what adverse effects that they're doing when they're doing a coaching session. They just stick to their coaching points and go, this is what I want to coach. They don't think about all of the other adverse things that, like, okay, if we're doing this, what's the other team doing that we're training with? What are the other players that we're training with? What are we actually teaching them? We're actually teaching them not to tackle the ball, only intercept passes. So that's a bad habit we're teaching. We also have to teach the good habit, which they don't do, because they assume, remember, well, we all knew that anyway as footballers. They should already know that. They don't, because they haven't learnt it yet, because they're new players. And you're thinking, oh yeah, but we knew that in our skill set. We're teaching them this little bracket here. Well, who cares? They never learn this bracket here because you don't teach it to them. And that's what's going on through the Premier League and through everything else. And it's going to compound on. It's why you don't get great strikers anymore. There's not loads of them. Like there used to be loads of good strikers, from Carlos Tevez to, the Luis Suarez's. And there was every team there was like 5 different great strikers that could all scoring goals in every league everywhere. Now, there just isn't, because they're not teaching it. They're teaching all of these different things. By the way, is there hundreds of generic wide players now, from like Sadio Mane, Raheem Sterling, there's loads of them, Mahrez, and you can go through, there's loads of great wingers, Saka and Jack Grealish, and there's billions generic wide players, there's thousands of them, because that's what they're teaching in the academies. So what goes into the academy comes into the Premier League in 10 years, and it dictates the actual styles and the modes of play. So you can see it happening, and all these little drills that they've been doing, teaching this player here to shadow, run around and intercept the pass, he never, ever gets to learn to tackle the football. All right. Well, other than that, I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.